This is a 29-gallon tank, planted low-tech with a sponge filter, and I've got a little internal filter just because the population density is so much that it helps to keep up with removing waste from the tank, just having something else besides a sponge filter on there. It's a trick I use. I have another internal power filter on another densely populated tank, and then I have a hang-on back on one too. And I primarily like the sponge filters, but when you get heavy population, it helps if you don't have time to do water changes constantly to have something that moves the water a little bit more to pick up a lot of waste. But the point of this video is to talk about something else entirely. This tank, I was really on the brink of losing my half black yellow leopards, so I thought, because I used to have Kohaku koi swordtails in here, and I gutted the tank, caught them all out, sold them to a friend for a really fair price so he could have a nice thriving colony of swordtails to work with. I loved the fish, but they were out competing the guppies. And let me explain. They weren't devouring the guppy fry, and I know that because I had had both species living harmoniously for probably a year or more, and I had had other types of guppies or mollies in with those swordtails, and they had always gotten along great with swordtails, with fry. And what was happening, I think, is that the swordtail fry are born bigger than guppy fry are, so they're more vigorous, and that means that they are getting the food easier, and I think that the guppy fry were just starving out. And so at one point I was getting almost no guppy fry. I mean, maybe a few to raise up every few months. And so I knew there was a problem, and I figured it had to do with the swordtails. So I got rid of the swordtails, and I had a few males and a bunch of females, and I have just been letting them breed, and really the production took quite a while to take off. I still wasn't getting very many fry, and then in the last month or two, I've just gotten hundreds. I mean, you can see all the guppy fry in here, hundreds of guppy fry. In fact, I had a female this week that I'd never seen a female guppy as big around as she was, and she was just massive with fry. I was worried it was something else, but I can't even tell which one she was anymore. She's slimmed down. So that's good. She gave birth, she survived, I never found a dead body. And everybody's doing good, and there's a lot more fry today than there was yesterday, so I'm sure she gave birth last night or this morning. But anyway, I pulled probably a dozen or more juvenile males out today that were starting to show some color. And that's kind of my attempt to control the breeding a little bit, is I pull males primarily and raise them up in a 10-gallon tank together. It's a mixed tank of males, and then I pick a few males to be the next generation of breeders. These males are raggedy. It's not a genetic problem. I had a few females in here for a while that were very aggressive and just shredded their tails. So I got rid of those females, but they still have pretty ragged tails, and I don't think they're ever going to completely heal over. But they have good pattern and good color, nice strong black, so they're good males. These are not nearly as big as when Nedra was working with them. She used to get them much bigger, but I don't breed with the same method she does. I still get good production, and I've got good color and pattern coming out of them, but not the huge size she was getting. And I probably could do a lot to improve that, but it's a lot of work keeping up with the little fish room I have, so I don't really have the time to do more. But yeah, so I guess what I can pass on here, I've been doing water changes, so the tank glass is dirty and the water's not filled up all the way. I'm going to top it off here in a little while. But what I think I can learn here is it's best if you're breeding guppies, and I am trying to breed for profit and enjoyment. It's not just for profit, but I do sell to the fish stores. So if you're trying to get production, only keep guppies in the tank. Don't keep other species of fish in there with them. Even if they're live bears, even if they're a docile line. A lot of times swordtails are known as fry eaters, but mine were super docile and just never very aggressive at all with fry. They just do so much better if you just keep the guppies. See, those males are sparring right there. See, that's part of why their tails are raggedy, because they're fighting each other. And I've never had that issue until a few months ago, and I don't know why that's become a problem. But they don't eat their fry anymore either. That's another thing I should mention. When I first got the half black yellow leopards from Nedra, well, I got them at Tails and Scales originally, but they originally came from her, and then I got them from Tails and Scales. They were they weren't horrible about eating their fry, but they did eat their fry. And what I found with a lot of lines of guppies is if you raise them in a colony setting like this long enough, eventually they get to where they just ignore their fry. I need to get rid of females again, because I've got so many, but I'm glad to see I'm getting production again. And now that I am, I'm not afraid to let a lot of these fish go in the future. Please don't ask me on the Guppy group page in the comments if you can come buy them or get them from me. I'm not gonna do that. We don't do that on our group. So, but just I know I've got too many females because I'm getting this many fry. But I'm also excited to see I'm getting so many fry again. But anyway, just wanted to show the progress, I guess, and that it was indeed the swordtails that were the problem. All right, well, I hope you guys are having a good evening and a great experience with your guppies as well.